Welcome to Podheim, Jiroc's Valheim podcast. Let's give him the business.
Hey everybody, today is March 28th, 2023. I'm your host, Jiroc the Viking, and joining me today are my fellow Vikings, Shield Maiden, Morning Darkness.
Hi.
We also have joining us, Viking Vaste.
Hello.
And joining us after, it's been a while, Viking Canaris.
Hello, everyone.
I love your picture there. Did you use AI to generate that? Canaris?
I did. I did. I've been playing around with Stable Diffusion lately, just getting into the, all of the recent updates with it. So it's been interesting because I have been gearing to teach a course in AI at the local universities here. So just refreshing everything I know with it. And within these last few weeks, I've realized it has come way further than what I first touched based upon a while back. So it's been interesting.
Oh yeah, it seems to be increasing by leaps and bounds every week. Every week there seems to be new news announcements, and other companies are releasing new tools. Actually, I went to GDC. Well, I'm going to talk about that here pretty soon, and I learned some more stuff about AI. But before we get on with all the fun stuff, I just wanted to say I have some other fun stuff for those of you who are looking to rent your own server to play Valheim or any other game with. You can use my link and save 10%. That's just jiroctheviking.com/gportal. They have Valheim servers starting at $3.50. And that goes up depending on how big a server you want and how long you want to rent it. And they also have them exclusively for the Xbox too, for all you new Xbox players out there. So go ahead and use that link, jiroctheviking.com/gportal. And if you want a server for, any other game, they have tons of games here, including a lot of the new big titles that have been coming out, which, talking about servers. So we have servers. And I have servers, and we're going to talk more.
Do you have servers?
Yeah, I have servers, and we have some new servers coming, and we have a season 4 server coming in a couple of weeks, right? I think it's in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Yeah. And so we'll talk about that here coming up in the podcast. But so I went to GDC this last week, was there all week, Monday through Friday in San Francisco. Now I live outside of San Francisco, but I got a hotel so I could just stay in San Francisco, and it was pretty awesome. I got to finally hook up with Morning Darkness. We, we got together and we had dinner with, who did we have dinner with, Morning?
Jonathan Smars or Jay Smars, Grimcore or Robin, and Lumah. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I have a couple of pictures to show from our dinner that night.
Oh,
Here
good.
we go. Woohoo! So there we all are. Obviously, if you don't recognize, that's me on the left there with the beard and the hat. And there's Morning Darkness in her bright red shirt, which was really cool looking.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and you can see we have a delicious
Feast.
Yeah. Korean barbecue restaurant there. And you actually did most of the cooking for us, didn't you, Morning?
Yeah. Because there was discussion about potentially burning things, which did happen when I wasn't in charge. We had premium coal pork at one point.
Yeah. So there's us as we're waiting for the Iron Gate crew to show up. And let's see what else I got here. Oh, this is a close-up of our food. Delicious food. Food pics are always fun, huh? And here's the gang. From left to right, you have Jonathan, programmer over at Iron Gate. And then, behind the hand there with his eyes closed, every picture he took, he had to close his eyes.
Yep.
I guess that's his thing. Like my
like you and your hat,
sunglasses and my hat. Yeah, so that's Grimcore, Robin, and that's Lumah on the far right. And so I was when I got there on Monday, they had gotten there earlier in the morning to the conference. Here's the conference information. It's a big conference they do once a year in San Francisco. It's something like over 20,000 people attend. There was so many people. Yeah, it was big. There. And while I'm waiting in line, it was about an hour-long line just to get in and get my registration badge to enter the conference because there's so many people. I'm standing there and I'm listening to like a podcast or something because I have like an hour to kill. And about halfway through the line, about a half an hour in, this giant is standing in front of me and he's got a big smile on his face. I look up and it was Robin. And I say giant because they're all over 6 feet tall. I'm only 5'10" myself. And so, yeah, I'm standing there and I see this shadow, over me. I'll look up and there he is. I pop my earplugs out, and all three of them, I look over and there's just these 3 giants surrounding me. Like, like I did not feel like Jiroc the Viking next to them. They felt like the Vikings because they're so tall. So
too cute.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, so I hung out with them a little bit, both here at dinner, and I ran into them a few times at the conference and at some of the lectures we went to, and just mostly got to know them. A little bit about Valheim. Morning, do you remember any of the people? Everybody wants to know. So, what did they tell you about Valheim or whatever is coming? You remember any of the things they said?
We got a real cute story about the one of the new Ashland monsters, and that it's going to be real tall, like more than twice, if not 3 times as tall as the troll. That's the evil Morgan.
Yes,
Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they released an image of it not too long ago, next to like the figure in your Viking character, and it was really tall. But yeah, they were stressing stressing the point how tall that thing was going to be. Very
like
big.
22 meters tall.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or something
big.
Like that. Yeah.
What? That is a boss hate. What?
Well, yeah, everything can change, but yeah.
It was a real cute story on the origin of it too, because apparently Richard, they would come into the office and they would say good morning to each other, but in Swedish it's good morgen. And Richard would be like, but why does it have to be a good morning? Why can't it be an evil morning? So he would say evil morning, like, before a meeting or whatever. And so that has stuck. And it was supposed to be a monster in the meadows. Like, it was supposed to be this thing that crawled around in the meadows, and it never made it back in past alpha or alpha testing even. And so now it's coming back. And I think it was just such a cute story.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of maybe the origin of that new Morgan monster. Canaris, do you remember seeing the picture that they released with the Morgan next to the Viking?
I have not, because I've kind of been away from social media on purpose.
Oh,
yeah.
Way too many It's like way too many spoilers lately.
Oh yeah. So. Well, yeah, especially now with the way they say that they're going to try to be more open about development and share more things along the way. But with the caveat that things could change, right? Like
right.
But yeah, I guess, yeah, if you want to, don't watch my videos or don't watch the ones where I do news updates, because I report on their news updates when they show stuff. There was some.
Well, he might have to cover his ears for part of today too.
Well, yeah. So
I'm kind of okay with spoilers. It's just not way too much. Like, I don't want to follow each and every step of the development on purpose, just because you need to have some surprises with the mobs at least.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well, I think we're all going to get a big surprise with the new Hilder's Quest patch that should be coming pretty soon, hopefully. Because
I was led to believe it's probably another month or two out.
Oh, that far out?
I don't know, but that's sort of my understanding of where they're at on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be still near done.
Well, what I was going to say is I like how they haven't revealed too much about that, like how that mechanic and the exploration with that is going to work, except for the fact that there's going to be several locations associated with Hilder and the Hilder's Quest around the world. So that'll be interesting get people out exploring more for new things, right? Because once you've hit a few things, you've been in all the biomes, they're all fairly similar. So you don't necessarily have to go out and search the rest of the world as long as you found all your boss locations, but some new locations out there to give you another reason to get out there would be fun. Go ahead.
Did they mention that Hilder is actually Haldor's sister?
Well, yeah, in the dev blog, which we're going to get to. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I didn't really know who that character was, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be like a Viking NPC, not a Eddie Berger.
That's what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah,
But it makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NPC in the world that they seem to have exposed us to are the dwarves, right? Because we have Haldor, and then now we have the Dwarger in the Mistlands that are friendly until you give them a reason not to be, which is kind of a fun mechanic.
Yeah.
And on my servers, we can tame them for you so they can actually be allied to you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So one of the things during this dinner that they mentioned that I remember that really stood out in my mind was about the Ashlands. Now, this isn't so much a spoiler as it is more kind of an interesting dilemma that they're dealing with in the development. So if you think about the world of Valheim is it's a biome, it's a bunch of islands all around the world, and then it's a biome, and when you get to the edge of the biome, you go into the next biome. And you may not come back to that same biome again until you've gone through to the other side of the island or to a new island. So as you travel through the world, you're constantly going from one biome to the next to progress, through the world as you're exploring.
There's a lot of biome interaction, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the Ashlands, you don't get that. You don't travel from a biome to the Ashlands into another biome to the Ashlands. Ashlands is at the bottom of the world, so you can see the circle that I'm in over here. So if this is the map that you're looking at, the Ashlands is all at the bottom, right? It's all at the bottom of the map down here. So you just traverse across it, one long traverse across the Ashlands. You never go into another biome, right? You just always in the Ashlands the whole time you're there. So they were saying that actually presents an interesting challenge for them because they know in the other biomes, you go in and out of biomes. So it's constantly, different environments for you to change. So they're trying to figure out a way to make it interesting enough that as you go through, it doesn't become like the same, right?
Yeah.
Like it is the same biome, but they have to find ways for the environment and the things that you come across to be unique enough that as you progress through the biome, that it feels new and challenging and
dynamic and progressive. Yeah.
Yeah. So that there's a reason to go through the whole thing. Because, maybe if you explore one little area, then that's all you need to do. Then you don't need to go anywhere else. But no, they're trying to find a way to make it dynamic throughout. So he just kind of pointed that out. That's not a teaser. That's just an interesting dilemma. So that just raises my curiosity. Do you guys have any thoughts, Canaris or Vaste, Morning too, of course, on what they might do? Like, can you think of any things that they might do to make that dynamic?
Some thoughts, but I've had time to think about it.
There was one specific one that Robin mentioned in one of the other streams, but I don't think they'll do it because he mentioned that he wanted the Ashlands to be like a really beautiful place, like, with nice flowers and really pretty situations with beautiful landscapes and all of that. And then when you enter it, it suddenly changes to, or you interact with something and then it changes to the undead land that it is.
So like almost like a
like an illusion or something?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
I seen like a new biome that surrounds the coast of the Ashlands. I understand it like that, what you say. Like, you surround the coast of the land where the Ashlands is going to be with the intermediate biome that is like the entry to the place.
Oh, so maybe that part looks really nice and like lush and gardeny, but then as you go through it, it burns away into the Ashlands.
Yeah, but it's weird.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm hoping that those fortress locations that they built or working on and have posted a few pictures on, that we're going to see like lots of those throughout. Because I just kind of always felt like Valheim doesn't have enough ruins and locations in the world, right? It's just mostly the biome and the forests and the plains or whatever. So more locations would be fun. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Just an interesting observation they pointed out.
I think they might separate as Ashlands of the rest of the biome. If you check now the map, how it's generated, you can have islands when you have a piece of other biome, and then it starts the line when the Ashland starts. I think they should make it independent and be only Ashlands. So when you reach a place, it's only Ashlands. You don't have a spot where it's a different land, like you enter a different world.
Mm. Well, it'll be interesting to see nonetheless. And Morning, do you remember that we were talking about portals and Podheim, and one of the things I had mentioned, I asked them, in the early days, portals could only be created at the stone circles.
Right.
And Robin said, well, the problem with that was that if we did that, then everybody would only build their bases near the stone circles, so they have access to the portals, which limits you being able to build wherever you want. That makes perfect sense. I would hope for an option, in the admin commands that we could just maybe limit the number of portals that a person could make somehow. Like say you could only have 2 or 5 or 10 or something like that. That would be a great, option. But so we got on the talk of portals. And do you remember what Robin said about the Ashlands and portals? Because I think he kind of let it slip.
He was looking at somehow limiting where or when you could build portals in the Ashlands, or making it so that they worked a little bit oddly or something. I can't remember exactly, but just to quickly respond to what I think they might be able to do with the POIs and the Ashlands.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool if they had like a boss spawn and then created like a radius around that of different things that could spawn around the boss spawn. And I think that would create some dynamic thing that they're looking for, so that you would, still have to search the entire area for some of it. But just a thought. Anyway, but yeah, in terms of the portals, because a couple of things went around, because I know that he said that he was looking to do it, but it was a challenge. And then you were like, oh yeah, anything to reduce it. And then my response was, but it makes the game so that I can play it with other people.
Yeah. Don't reduce it.
They could already do that. They could already do that because they have the ward system where you can't build anything. So they have a system to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could use that system and expand it into the area so that you couldn't place a ward or whatever, build a ward there. But the conversation went something like this. I was saying, portal. It's like there's just so many portals in the game. There's just portals everywhere, and Grimcore said something like, "Not in the Ashlands."
Yeah, you're right.
He just said that.
Something like that.
He just said, "Not in the Ashlands." So, and then he kind of changed the subject afterwards. But saying that they were looking at
totally
ways.
So
I'm really curious how that's going to work, or it could change. Right, they're exploring different ideas, but I thought it was kind of fun that. Because I guess they want you to have to sail to the Ashlands to get there. If they're not going to let you portal there, but there's
but if you can build in the Ashlands, I can tell you I won't play it. If you can build a simple portal in the Ashlands, I refuse to play it.
I'm sure you're going to be able to place portals in some places, maybe even most places. They might just put some kind of limit around like a POI.
Yeah.
I think they're going to maybe limit it. If they limit it at all, I think it would just be to limit it around like a POI or something. Or like there might be, I don't know, it might have something to do with how they're going to make the world, the biome dynamic for you to travel, through it and feel like it's different. Whatever that is, there might be a mechanic that limits you from being able to portal to different spot. Who knows, right? Like,
who knows?
Who knows? They just hinted at that when he said not in the Ashlands. When I said there were too many portals, so it doesn't mean that there will be no portals, but maybe not too many.
There is not
they
enough
clearly
portals.
want you to interact with the danger noodle.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe there's some kind of teleporting system already there, right? Like, because there's mods where I forget what it's called, but there are these little platforms, and if you land on them, it saves it in your character, and then when you visit another one, you can teleport to the last platform that you went to. I forget what that system was called, but other MMOs and games have a system like that.
The fast travel system of other games.
Yeah, once you've visited the area, then you can now teleport there. So who knows? That's just. And then, we got to learn about, where they live in Sweden and what they've been up to. And, it was just fun getting to know them a little bit more.
It was. Yeah. Talking about family and living out in the middle of nowhere and, or more urban style living and, just sort of office life and fantastic. I think my favorite conversation was see, these are all the stereotypes that people have about us and how the game development process works and how the success has looked like to other people. And in reality, like, no, this is really more what it's like. I loved getting that sort of background view of like, we get all these complaints about X, Y, or Z, and really it's this. And Jiroc and I, we've gotten a chance to interview some of these guys before, and so we've had some of these conversations. But it was real nice to just have like a candid conversation about it, and just certain misconceptions that general public seems to have versus the reality of things, and commiserating. I think that was my favorite part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being able to like listen to them and let them like tell us, oh gosh, like let it off their shoulders a little bit. I loved that.
Yeah, it's hard to type it all out, whether, if it's on Twitter, it's however many characters or, you can't respond to every comment on Discord or YouTube or wherever they're posted. But yeah, just to have a conversation over a great dinner about some of the things. But yeah, no, they seem like they're really enjoying it. They really appreciate the, the fans, and, they definitely do listen and try to, take the feedback as much as they can, but there's so much to do, right? And they're a small team, so they do have to prioritize things, and all good things in time. It is early access, so before we move on though, there was morning after dinner, morning had to drive home, and I walked with them to their hotel. Yeah, there was a big accident on the bridge, right? Did you still have to deal with that on the way home?
No. So like, honestly, that was the worst weather I think we've had in more than a decade.
Yeah,
was the storm driving into the city that night. Like, you were so lucky that you had a hotel room there. You sent pictures of like a tree having been knocked over in the city. And while I was going across the bridge, a big rig got blown over in the wind on the lower deck of the Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
So it closed the freeway, leaving the city at rush hour primetime traffic.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were thinking about you while you're driving home because, we had to deal with all that.
There was a lot of water on the road, and getting onto the bridge was still really slow. But once I was on the bridge, it had all been cleared. So it was actually a relatively safe drive home, especially compared to driving in. Driving in was so much worse.
Yeah. Because it was early with that accident and the weather and everything. But so after you left, I walked with them back to their hotel. And I went into the lobby and I hung out for, I don't know, about another hour. I think I was with them till about 11:45 at night before they finally went to bed. But we talked about a few different things, but one of the things we talked about was, I don't know how we got on it, but we talked, how the metric system is better than, our standard system. It's easier to, but I told her, there's a comedian, I forget who it was, but he said, the metric system is for people who are too lazy to do math in their head. Because it's easy, right? It just, tens, 4 of this equals 8 of that, or, how many pints in a gallon, and how many quarts and all this stuff. Like I just thought it was funny that the comedian says that people who don't like to do math in their head. It's true. You have to do more math. But so then we got onto that. I said, yes, the metric system is better, and I agree, but the Fahrenheit system is better. And then we had a friendly debate about that for like the next half hour, whether Celsius or Fahrenheit was better. So,
that's funny.
It was very funny, but so that was GDC, and it was tons of fun. Oh, GDC. Exposed to the game development. I was so inspired by all the great things that are going on out there in game development, and have so much more respect. I mean, I had a lot of respect before, but getting to see, the inside of how much goes into everything through all the lectures I went to and the expo and everything. It's amazing. If you guys ever get a chance to go, I highly recommend it. If just being a fan of gaming, not even wanting to be a game developer yourself, it's pretty interesting. But so we were going to talk about our server. So what's going on with our server? So we have 2 permanent servers, and one of the new ones, 2 permanent vanilla servers. One of them launched with Mistland, so lots of room there, while the older server has hundreds of builds. If anybody is interested, you can come and check out all those builds. You can build on either one of those servers. And we have a resource server that resets every few weeks. So you don't have to have mods. Otherwise, we have to install mods, and the players have to install mods to reset the resources. It's something I hope when they get to the 1.0 version that they start implementing these kinds of tools in the base vanilla game for server admins, so we don't have to force mods on players. So we have a whole ecosystem for vanilla players, and hoping that we can turn on crossplay so that we can have the Xbox players join us soon. With the recent issues, they released a patch actually just today that caused some issues with our servers, but it's trying to fix some of those issues. But
like the height mapping one, I thought that was real interesting when they were warning us about that.
Yeah, at our dinner, they said, you might want to have crossplay off until they can get the fix out, because on Xbox, the height map will be different than it is on PC. So one of you might be running really high in the air because in your world, your ground is high, and in the other world, the ground is low. But the problem with that is if the ground is in a different spot for you to the build on the PC version, when you walk up to the build, if it's floating in the air, it's going to start falling apart because it's not supported. So they said, you might want to have crossplay turned off until the patch comes out, the patch came out today. So maybe that was fixed. I'm going to wait a little bit longer until I hear how that's going before I enable crossplay. But we also have a modded server. So if you do like the mods, they're super easy to install. Aren't mods easy to install? Like a lot of people are worried that mods are difficult. What do you think?
it depends on because I already run on the lower side of mods. I don't mess around with too many that change the game a lot. But yeah, it's fairly straightforward, especially with the mod managers.
Yeah, the mod managers are what make it. People think I got to download a file and then figure out which directory to put the files in and hope it doesn't mess up my game or that I don't mess up my game. Nope, you mod manager, and almost anybody on my server, even if you just come over and ask us on my Discord, discord.gg/Jiroc the Viking, we can show you how, walk you through how to install mods, whether you want to play with us or just do it on your own. So many friendly people. Hell, Vaste doesn't even play Valheim anymore. He just hangs out on Discord all day long and talks to people. Right, Vaste?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Vaste's busy too. But
at some point, I should get my degree. So
exactly right. But he's very active on Discord and very helpful. But yeah, so our season 3 server is running right now. This version of it is a no map server, and season 4 is going to come out here in a couple of weeks. And I'm hoping to do a little promo for it here soon. But I'm hoping it'll feature a few things. Now, not going to be, it's going to be different than our season 1, 2, or 3 servers. But this one, we have, I don't know if you've ever watched any of my other videos, but I posted this floating island, kind of like you've seen in Avatar. So we had one of our admins named Kondo. He built this floating island, and it goes all the way from the ocean. You can sail up to it, and then you can walk up it. But these giant floating islands, like in Avatar, made from the rocks and the different terrain and trees and vines and all kinds of stuff that are in the assets of Valheim. And it's absolutely beautiful. Well, season 4 is going to have these all around the world. They're going to have mobs on them, and they might have a couple of special things located on them for those who feel like going out and exploring and trying to find them and defeat the mobs there. You can also build on them. But the special things they might have are, so in Valheim, there's a flaming sword, right? A fire sword that hasn't been introduced in the game yet. Maybe eventually when Ashlands comes, but some of these new locations that I'm going to be putting in the season 4 server are going to have these flaming swords. And there should be enough for everyone. So, I mean, if you have 2, what are you going to do with 2? You can only hold one and use one. So if you have a friend, you can always trade them off. But yeah, so we're going to have some really interesting locations on season 4, including the floating islands. We're going to let players get the fire sword because they exist in the game. They're super fun. So why not give them a way to get them and play with them? It's a seasonal server anyway, so it'll run for about 4 months or so. And you get to explore these cool custom locations and find some unique things.
I will warn you that if you provide the fire swords might not always be used for fighting. They make excellent lamp lighting.
They do make a really good light source.
That might be a reason why someone might hoard them.
There you go.
Warning. Fair warning.
That's true. That's very true. In my test, they cast a nicer and whiter glow than even like a torch does.
Yeah.
So that's what we're thinking about doing for that. And no mods are needed to play. Everything is vanilla for season 4. No mods needed. Now, I'm going to do something special starting from the release of this podcast. I'd say today, but today is Tuesday. So, but when the podcast comes out, so I'm actually going to open up the servers to non-Patreons, all my servers and my new servers to non-Patreons for anybody who has a real financial hardship. So if you are out there and you want to play in a multiplayer community, but you have a financial hardship and you can't afford, to support me on Patreon, because right now playing on my servers is just a perk for my patrons. I'm going to open it up and we can reevaluate every month or so, depending on your situation. But if you write me an email and you explain your financial hardship, we'll let you on and come and play on my servers, including the new season 4 server that's coming out. I want,
exciting.
Yeah, so many good people out there, and I don't want good people to not be able to join good people if they have a financial hardship. So please just send me an email. Let me know your situation. We'll get you hooked up and you can come and play with us. But for those of you who can't afford the support for a few bucks a month, I totally appreciate it. It helps cover some of my time and some of the costs that goes in to doing all of this. So, and my email is jiroctheviking@gmail.com. And of course, you can submit your application on the website. And I haven't updated it just yet, but I'll probably update it with a little block for you to explain your financial hardship there if you have it. But you can still click on that you are a Patreon subscriber if you're applying with a financial hardship. So no reason not to come and play with us now if you're out there. And that said,
make a couple of recommendations.
Oh yeah, no, great. Yeah, let's bring the good people over and get them on and give them somewhere to spend time with other amazing people from our community. Good. So next up, I just wanted to, since we're talking about supporting, if you do need a new computer, we already talked about G-Portal. If you want your own server, but if you need a new computer, Zydax, jiroctheviking.com/Zydax. Now this is I own a Zydax computer, and they've always the customer support has been really great. They have ready to ship PCs, or you can customize your own, and the fee they charge is very minimal to build a computer for you if you actually source out all the parts yourself and put it together. So why not pay a little tiny fee? They actually are one of the few companies in the world that offer a lifetime parts and labor warranty. So for the life of the computer, if something goes wrong with your desktop computer, they'll the parts and the labor are covered. So pretty amazing deal. Like I actually had a power supply go out on mine, and when I shipped it back, they replaced it and no problem. Sent it back. And they also do laptops if you need it. Which I'm actually thinking about getting a new gaming laptop here pretty soon. Especially
so you can do content creation anywhere.
Exactly. Especially if I start traveling more and doing more events. But like I was being, at GDC with my older gaming laptop, and then I've been sick in bed, and so I had my laptop sitting on my lap, like trying to do stuff, and I just keep thinking, this is loading a lot slower than my desktop. So I might be doing another Zydax purchase here pretty soon.
Oh.
So Morning, what have you been up to over on Twitch the last, I guess about 3 weeks or so?
3 weeks, yeah. Quite a bit, actually. I'm still doing the date night series with my husband. We just did episode 31, I think. And so we're finishing up our build. We did trap a yawl so as to prevent other yawls from spawning in the area. So we get the real cute sounds of the yawl all day long. But it is a nice thing to know that we are now otherwise protected generally, except for the Mistlands yawl event. And then I did recently finish my canal through the swamp, and I built a lighthouse adjacent to that in a tree.
Oh, nice.
And I used the new sign imaging to create Neonheim fireworks coming up off the tree so that you can see them, at the farthest render distance. And it very clearly indicates where the lighthouse is, which is kind of fun. And then I did post Instagram photos of the dinner with the devs. And I will be celebrating a year of deciding to stream. So this doesn't include the Shield Maiden International Women's Day stream that I did, but it was about a few weeks after that I decided, I want to try streaming, And so that day will be a year ago as of tomorrow. So on Wednesday, which will be 2 days ago, once this is released, I will be playing a different game other than Valheim. I'm going to be playing a spooky game called The Quarry. The Quarry.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to have like a whole new set of sounds so that people can try to freak me out or scare me or whatever.
Little jump scare sounds that people can light off in your headphones.
Right, exactly. So, I'm celebrating having streamed for a year as of tomorrow, which
wow, congratulations!
Unbelievable. Thanks. Yeah, and I'm almost at 1,300 followers too, which is pretty good for a year of streaming, or so I hear.
Well, yeah, and that you've had the commitment to continue to do it like almost every week, or maybe you have done it every single week in over the year. And you sometimes stream more than once a week, don't you?
I stream 3 times a week, sometimes 4.
There you
go. It's been an interesting challenge because especially with my pain and some of the other hiccups that I've had. What's interesting is that even if I start stream and I'm feeling particularly bad, if I've got a headache, whatever, more often than not, I don't know what it is, but something about streaming, interacting with people in this way, whatever it is, I start to at least feel well enough to continue, if not a little bit better than when I started, which is an incredibly unusual experience for me. When I get into a whatever it is going on in my body, it usually sticks around until I have some sort of pain treatment or relief. And with streaming, like I can start streaming and be like, oh, like my headache is just not as bad anymore, or it's like tolerable or whatever. And so it's been a really neat experience for me because I haven't been able to even, hold down a job in several years. And being able to have this small 4-hour commitment 3 days a week has improved my quality of life, and my view of self-worth has increased, which it's made a huge difference in a lot of different avenues in my life. So I'm really, really thrilled and pleased and grateful that I started down this path.
Well, that's awesome. And you're also making new friends too, right? Because not only the viewers, but other streamers, and like that whole community on Twitch is very, very tight community.
Very loving, especially the Valheim community. I met half from our servers.
Oh, nice.
So we're doing D&D playtesting and gearing up for the convention that we run a game for in May. And we were doing a D&D playtest, and I happened to mention it on my stream, like, hey, if you want to come and help us playtest, you can tune in. Either, most people have to come in digitally, but then half just happened to be watching my stream, which he never is up late enough to do. And he's like, hey, I'm, not that far. I can drive up. I'm only like an hour and a half away. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then later I looked at who it was. I'm like, oh, my teammate from season 1 Nomap and Team Chi. I was like, I know you.
Yeah.
So he ended up coming over on Sunday, and so I actually got to meet half IRL too, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh, nice. So, is he in the Bay Area, or where is he?
Yeah.
Oh, he is in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I don't want to go too into it because I know
fine.
He mentioned on my Twitch, but I want to ask permission before I, talk someone.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But the other airport, not the two that we normally think of. The other one.
Yeah.
Over
okay.
there.
Yeah, I know which one. Well, yeah, there's 4 big airports, and then there's a little one near us where you can actually take commercial flights out of. They're more limited, obviously, but
I think you know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So check her out, Morning Darkness with 5s instead of S's over there on Twitch, just like her name down there underneath her portrait. And Canaris, you still with us?
Yep.
So, Canaris, you have a YouTube channel, right? And you've been
Yes,
posting a little bit
YouTube.
more on there recently.
YouTube and Twitch, although I've the last few months I've kind of fallen off because a lot of IRL stuff happening. So it's kind of not as easy as you guys make it seem, you know. Like
I try. It's not easy. It is so much work. The prep, the live streams are like they're not easy either. That's just a different type of prep and work that goes into it. But then if you're doing a video, you have to edit. That's a whole nother thing that, after you shoot it, now there's all this editing. But what have you been doing on your channel? Can you tell us?
Yeah, I'm just messing around with, because I do edit. I'm familiar with the softwares and all of that. So I have edited a whole bunch of videos, made a cinematic for the Black Core. I don't know if you've seen it. And I believe
this one
the last
here?
one was, yes. And I made the Frozen Throne, which my computer hated me for, because that's like I had to get a mod to make sure more zones load in for the view of everything, and my computer just hated it. It's like you can literally notice the frame drops in all of it because it's the Frozen Throne from World of Warcraft. It's like one of the very early games.
Yeah, check that out. Definitely go and check it out. His channel is Canaris Design. And if you type it with Canaris Design and you type Valheim, you'll definitely find the channel.
And his sense of humor in these videos is very quirky and incredibly delightful. Like it's very fun.
Yeah. So you built this then in creative mode for this video, huh?
Yes, I actually got one of the mods to change the height map. So I could actually bring the ground all the way up as high as it would go. And then, what I learned from your POI creations, I used the Infinity Hammer to just mold the ice around it to get that look for it. It's been interesting.
Yeah. The creative tools that the modders have for Valheim are pretty amazing. You do some amazing things. I'm hoping that some of those will find their way into vanilla tools maybe after 1.0 release. And it looks like your last video was Vader Down, your build in Valheim. This was part of the build competition we did for, what was that? Was that the May the 4th build competition, right?
Yes.
Yes. I'm also working on the one with the wolf head. Just haven't finished it. Finished the whole editing process because this time around I am trying to add a bit of voiceover with the thought process of different things for that build. So it's been slightly more interesting than just, placing the cool shots and adding music to it, because these I can turn on turn out much faster than the other one. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, this was a great build. I think didn't you win the build competition with this entry?
I did. And I'm still surprised why, because there was like so many cool and really awesome builds that time around. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, this and the Star Destroyer, that was your build, right, Vaste?
Yep, it was mine.
Yeah, those two builds, I was blown away by both builds and many of the other ones too. But yeah, check out my channel if you're interested in that. It'll be around May the 4th from last year, 2022, in the live stream portion where we did a build. We have built monthly build competitions, and everybody built some Star Wars themed one, and they were amazing. So if you haven't seen them, and they're actually still available on my main legacy server called the Viking Playground. It's our permanent server. So if you were playing on my servers, you could go out and check them out, along with hundreds of other amazing builds that people have done. And we're going to have to figure out something to do for May the 4th this year, which is coming up here pretty soon. Yeah, right around the corner. But yeah, so let's see. What did I do? speaking of builds, there's a build of your. We did an animal statue build competition. What was it? 12 days ago. Looking at the what it says on there, like how many? I don't know. I've been in limbo this last week or so now with COVID and the conference. But giant wolf head entrance to your base there. That's really cool. Funny enough, it was part of your Dwarger build too, and I used the thumbnail was a similar picture. I just now noticed.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that people were using it for the thumbnail. I didn't think it turned out as great as people make it seem, but I thought it was really cool. And when I look at the builds, I always try to grab a screen capture of the one of the builds real quickly. Like I don't always have time to go to all of them ahead of time, and I want to be surprised, when we do the competition. So I just start visiting each one, and whichever one I think would just fit a good thumbnail. Because like some builds are really amazing, but like it's hard to get a perspective on it that makes for a good thumbnail. So I grab whichever one looks cool that I just happen to run into, and that will make a good thumbnail. So. So fun fact. Initially, I wanted to make the mouth of the wolf like really open, so you walk inside the mouth.
Oh,
but every time I tried it, it just looked like the wolf had a dislocated jaw, and I couldn't get it right. So
too wide, huh?
Yeah, it just felt weird. It didn't it just didn't feel right.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
It just looked off. So yeah.
Well, we have I think our castle build competition coming up this next month.
Yep. 2 weeks more or less.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what people are doing for that. So we have a bunch of Valheim news to cover because we missed. We didn't. I was at the conference last week, and then a patch dropped today. And before we do that, I have another sponsor to share, but this one is pretty fun. And I wish, unfortunately, Gwen couldn't be here today because she had to work late. But I love having Gwen on when I'm talking about Grimfrost, my sponsor, because, she likes to do the reenactment stuff and she's buying a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, she had a new video out. Well, she streams like every Thursday, playing Valheim with a bunch of people from our server. But she did what does she call it? Like the sewing stream or something?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Morning Darkness. So, she did a stream where she was like putting together an outfit, like a Viking dress for a child, I think it was, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very fun one to watch.
And it was like 2 hours longer, maybe longer. Like she spent some time doing it and, getting to watch the whole process and her chatting with everybody. And I guess she started shooting on her phone and then it died. Cause I was able to skip around and check out a little bit of it, but she started recording on her phone and then it died. So she had to switch to her laptop. But she kept the stream going. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So Grimfrost, if you guys are really into cool Viking products, they have all kinds of amazing things. I put together a costume last Halloween for this, and a little bit of it keeps me warm even now. And here's the bone comb that Gwen has talked a lot about. I think she's mentioned these a few times. I have a nice wooden one for my beard, but I would like to get a bone one to see how that is. All kinds of cool stuff on here if you're interested. Drinking horns, games. They have books. Actually, I have this exact hand forged Thor's hammer. I don't know. You probably didn't even notice it, but I wore it the entire conference, even at our dinner. And modern stuff too is kind of cool.
And doesn't the Valheim official merch go through the Grimfrost website?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, if you buy any of their t-shirts or anything, it has a tag on it that says, manufactured by the Grimfrost.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
They're having a sale right now.
Oh, right. Valheim is, right? Yeah.
Ooh,
like 20% off everything on the Valheim store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And no plug for me there. That's just you go there and you save. But yeah, if you want to get anything at Grimfrost, just you go use my link, jiroctheviking.com/Grimfrost, and check out their website. Thousands of things on here. As a matter of fact, let me show you. If you haven't seen it, yep, there I am. That's me during Halloween, my outfit that I put together. Lots of cool stuff on here. My little accessories. That's a real knife. That's a $400 knife I bought at a fair. I bought it from the blacksmith who made it. Like he was there.
I didn't recognize you because, no glasses and the hat.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. People say they want to see me without my sunglasses. There you go. So yeah, there you go. Grimfrost stuff, pretty cool stuff over there. If you're into that kind of thing. But let's talk news. So they released on Xbox. Have you guys all seen the Xbox trailer that they released?
Oh, good. Yep. They did such a beautiful job with that.
They should make a TV show.
Yeah,
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, those animations they used for some of the earlier releases, like the Hearth and Home and other things, that hand-drawn animation storytelling, that would make a great cartoon. I'd love to see that. But yeah, so for the trailer that they released, they're just basically showing game footage here. I've got the sound off so we can talk over it. Plus, I think they actually use music that might be copyright protected. That they have, because it's not game music. But if you played on the PC, you've seen a lot of this footage and this gameplay. But what's nice is that it's now on Xbox for the Xbox players. And, instead of, a mouse and keyboard, they have to use their controller to switch in between. I think they show in here somewhere a little bit of the controller interaction. Maybe it was a different video.
Yeah, I think it's a different video.
It's a different video.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they actually do pretty cinematic stuff because, I've made a few cinematic trailers for our seasonal servers and it's a lot of fun. But some of the shots that they put together in here and the action and everything, you can tell somebody who knows how to do some camera work. So it's fun to watch. If you haven't seen it, check that out. But they released a development blog last week while I was at GDC. And they mentioned, Xbox. And here's what Morning Darkness just mentioned. Celebrate the release, a 20% discount on official merch at their official store. And I think it's still going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. 24 until the 28th. Oh, you know what? We're recording this on the 28th. So I don't know when podcast comes out if this will still be active, but hey, check just in case it's still going on. Yeah, they have a lot of cool stuff. And yeah, it's all, as Morning said, the t-shirts are I think you can see it right here. Oh no, it has the Valheim actually printed in here on the inside tag, but I think right underneath that, I think it says Grimfrost, if I remember correctly, because I have, and Morning Darkness has a Valheim t-shirt from the official store. But so yeah, the dev blog. So here is today we share a more recent version of the terrain of the biome of the Ashlands. Can you feel yourself melting in the heat already? Oh yeah, what do you think of that, Canaris?
Looks very interesting.
Well, yeah, I'm still wondering if these are going to be solid or liquid. It looks like it's solid from the shape because it's more the shape of the land instead of like a flat pool of water, but maybe it's bubbling and undulating. Like a party, she's like, yeah, I think it's
like the tar. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks cool. It looks hot. I'm pretty sure if you fall in there, you're going to be at risk of dying without heat protection. Let's see, what do they say? Some graphical assets that are already being worked on, a fleshing out gameplay loop of the Ashlands biome. So that might relate to what we were talking about before. say you're already used to going to dungeon delving, but this time we're testing out the concept of fortress time. So instead of going into a dungeon, locations at fortresses that are on the land.
Be interesting.
Yeah. They have like the little towers and ruins around the world, but not actual like dungeon-like places above ground. So that'll be interesting to see if they can pull that off. And I don't know, what are these? Are these just rocks in the background with these flat shapes, or are these buildings? I don't know. You can't really tell in this picture.
Say those are rocks.
Yeah, probably some kind of interesting land formation rock thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll give you somewhere to go to get away from the mobs that are trying to kill you, or get away from the heat. And then
the mobs tall enough to reach there.
Oh yeah, the evil Morgan maybe can reach you from up there if it's that tall. And then we talked about Hilder's quest. Let's see what they say. So they say, on the subject of Hilder's quest update, we thought we would share some further details about Hilder herself. She has a few things in common with her brother Haldor. So there you go. There's the final reveal that she's actually related to Haldor. I mean, she's probably going to be Dwerger also. They could be adopted, but I'm guessing it's going to be a Dwerger. They could have adopted a Viking and, raised a Viking. But let's see, like, for example, that you'll be able to find her where she has stopped with her wagon and locks. And check out this question. But why does her camp look so empty? Like there's nothing on the table. There's nobody sitting here. We've seen it in other pictures, like what look like clothes hanging from the canopy, if you remember. But there's none of that here. And are we going to get to make this really cool? What is this? A chaise lounge? I think I'm saying that incorrectly. Chaise lounge. Something like Shillong. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it looks like there's,
I think,
at least one of them here in the scene, and something else over here. I don't know. Interesting.
I see hanging lanterns. Finally, that's what I want.
Oh yeah. Well, like with Haldor, we can't build a lot of the stuff that's at his camp. Hopefully we can build some of the stuff that's her camp. Cause I mean, look at that table. Isn't that a beautiful table with the iron?
Right. Well, and we've heard that she's ahead of her time. So,
well, yeah, she has an office table and a desk chair for the hair upgrades and the beard up changes. Let's say, so it says Hilder's camp is not the only new location that will be featured in the update. However, particularly hopeful Vikings or very lucky explorers will be able to find a few new mysterious places scattered across the world. We'll let you find out what secrets they hold by yourself, but we advise that you prepare yourself before venturing forth. And then they show this picture of what looks like, I guess, like a new cave or dungeon or something that you're going to go into and explore. That might be part of the Hilder's quest update. Again, as I mentioned earlier, giving you another reason to go out into the world. And it looks like these ones are in the Black Forest, right?
That's a burial dungeon entrance with a few torches. Sounds bad, but it's actually that.
Yeah,
it looks different though.
Yeah, there's only a few torches. That is literally one of the assets of the dungeon entrance in the Black Forest.
Well, yeah, they definitely might have repurposed some or all of one of the other dungeon entrances for this, but what's inside, I think, is going to be the unique thing, right? Because it's part of this.
Yeah, of course.
Hilder's update. So another reason to get out and explore. It's one of the things we've tried to do on our servers by placing things out in the world randomly, whether it be mobs or locations and points of interest, so that the players can get out and explore a little bit more. Let's see. So for Hilder's quest, we're also looking at some quality of life updates, which you might have spotted on social media. Do you remember any of those, Canaris, or have you not seen those quality of life updates?
Yes, the build one for sure. The snap points, definitely seen those.
Oh yeah, that's this one right here. They mentioned toggle manual snapping points, and then the other one here is moving items to and from chests.
I'm a bit 50-50 on that because I do like one of the mods that's called Smart Containers.
Yeah.
That works way better than what they have going on at the moment. So I'm a bit biased for that one specifically.
Yeah, that one's a little too easy because you can just stand near your chests and then you can just hit a key and everything will be sorted to all the chests in the area, which is kind of like, well, you might as well just pop on a YouTube video. Hey, or pop on Morning Darkness playing Twitch. She can play the game for you. You don't even have to play it yourself. If you got all these auto macros that just do all the work for you, she can do it for you. Just watch her play, or any of us who are playing the game. But yeah, I do like their version actually better because you still have to interact with the chest, and then it will just pull from your inventory what's in the chest rather than automatically sorting everything in the room for you.
Unless you have storages like mine.
Yeah, or just like Canarus's are huge. And
yeah,
you guys think my storage is crazy? You should see his.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is one of my little complaints is that there's too much loot and the storage is too small. Like stacks could be bigger. There could be more slots in the chests. But if you just make the stacks bigger, that will help a lot. But also just reduce the amount of loot because I feel like I go out and I was timing myself when I was playing on our modded server. Of course, modded, there's even more loot because there's more creatures dropping more loot. But it was about 8 to 10 minutes and my inventory was full, including the backpack that I had, which gave me expanded inventory because of a mod. And then I had to drop a portal and go back and unload every 8 minutes. Can you imagine you're out there running around and every 8 minutes you got to go unload because your inventory is so full?
Who cares? Rested more than just sitting by a campfire then.
And I can't wait, I don't like to waste stuff and just leave it behind. I have to take everything. So people say, well, you have to pick and choose what you're going to take with you. I'm like, no, I want it all. I earned it. It's coming home with me.
It's all useful if you're a builder.
Oh, so useful if you're a builder. Plus, if there's like a new player or somebody who doesn't have as much time to play, then you have extra stuff you can loan them. And then they posted a build of the month here, which these are always fun. You get into the picture and zoom in and take a look at this. There's all kinds of cool detail here. And let's see. The contributor was Fia Workshop. So check out this build. There's a lot of cool detail here. It looks like they even have a water wheel here attached to this building. Isn't that what that is?
It looks like it, yeah. Once it's done, I might have to submit husbands in my build for this.
Oh, I totally would. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, lots of cool builds. On our server, too, we could submit if could ever find the time. There's hundreds, there's so many of them. But the individuals, if they want, they can submit pictures too. Because we do allow the camera mod if you want to, fly around to take pictures of your build. Because getting a really nice picture without the admin tools or the camera mod, you can't just fly around anywhere you want to get the perfect angle. So that's the blog update that they released last week. And then just this morning, they broke all of my servers and a whole bunch of people's servers because they released a new patch that was supposed to fix the crossplay problems with the Xbox. So it's time for some hot fixes and the abbreviated patch notes. Let's see. Left-handed mouse fixed. Manual saving bug fix. Swap trigger on the controller option added.
They took away Neonheim. The signs apparently no longer glow. I haven't looked at it myself, but I think if you change the color, I don't think it glows anymore.
Oh, is it just the color, but not without like a glowy effect?
Yeah.
We'll have to test that. But yeah, they added in a previous patch, they added a new text thing, a thing that controls all text in the game called Text Mesh Pro, which you can customize with like HTML type code. And you can change the size and the opacity and the color. But yeah, it did look like it was glowing before, so we'll have to see what it looks like now. And then various performance bugs. So yeah, you can go in here and take a look at this if you're interested in that. Was there anything else that stood out in here, Warning, that you might wanted to mention? I've looked through it, but yeah, it's a bunch of like little.
So I like that they fixed the manual save, so it no longer causes you to respawn where you saved. That was a good one. That was important.
Yeah.
See here. I think that was the main one that I really noticed.
Oh, that's the one you were saying. They now are lit correctly and no longer glow.
Yep.
Well, no lower glow.
Well,
I think that was a typo.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, try it out. And what is this? Hover text input on sign should now be displayed correctly and can use /T and /N symbols. Well, /N traditionally is for a new line, right?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
And what is a /T for? I forget. Does anybody know what /T, what that means when you use that symbol? I know /N is usually for a drop down line, so you want to go down to the next line. But yeah, play around with the signs, and you can look up Text Mesh Pro. Like if you just look it up on Google, and they have a web page that shows you all the different coding that you can use to change the color and the opacity and the size and all the different options.
Either the /T is like using the tab, like adds some space.
Oh, so it adds a big block of space between words. Well, that's handy too. Yeah. Cool. So there you go. And so it gives more flexibility, but yeah, it's changed the old sign mechanic that people like for example, we no longer have floating text, right? Like off the sign. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it
horizontally. They kind of stopped it horizontally, but vertically was possible. I don't know if they stopped both now. So it's
you can do it. The thing is, you need too many. You either need to stack a lot of signs to do it, or use a mod, because the way to do it needs a lot of characters, which Valheim only limits to 50.
Yeah.
Rough.
Well, I have noticed, besides the new option, even though we lost some of the functionality of the old signs, I've noticed that, having all the new options with Text Mesh Pro is cool because we don't need a mod now to change the color if we want. And also, the text on screen all looks sharper and cleaner to me. So I don't know if Text Mesh Pro has, or if I'm just I'm just imagining it, or if it actually does look sharper and cleaner.
They actually made it bolder, and I think some of the symbols weren't working. I'm hoping this patch fixes those symbol issues, because some of the language symbols weren't displaying after the last update.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah. So if anybody out there listening wants to play on our servers, remember it's Patreon supported, so patrons get access right away. But if you have a financial hardship and you can't afford to support, we still want you to come play with us. Play with these amazing people here. Well, Vaste you can come talk to on Discord, but you can play. You can play with everybody else. Well, no, Vaste still does some admin stuff too once in a while when he has time to run an admin event or something. But come to my website, JirocTheViking.com, and just submit an application and sign up for Patreon if you can. And if not, just send me an email about your financial hardship, and we'll get you on. We'll get you on playing with good people, because that's what we want, right? Once we play Valheim by ourselves, it's fun, but then it gets lonely, and you want to play with others.
It does.
So come play with us. Come to our Discord server, discord.gg/Jiroc the Viking, and talk with everybody. And before we finish today, we have one more fun thing to do. Morning Darkness has prepped Valheim trivia. We haven't done a Valheim trivia in a little while.
Far too long.
And it's going to be a short one. You say you have what, 5 or 6 questions?
5 questions.
5 questions. So Canaris and Baste, if you guys will go to the channel on Discord that we're talking in and click on the open chat box so that you can see the text chat there.
Yep.
And Morning Darkness has already posted the dashed lines to separate the previous comment. Type in your answer. And so the first one to get the right answer, Morning will give a point to. As a matter of fact, I can probably help keep score here with a notepad.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll put up a notepad and I'll switch this over so we can see it right there. And let's see, font. We'll make that a big font. That should be big enough. So we'll just say Jiroc and we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because Jiroc's going to get all 5 answers. I'm teasing. I'll change it to whoever gets the right answer.
I see you never have won one of these.
No, I think I did. I think when the one you weren't on, I think I won. What you weren't on, and I said, "Oh, Vaste wasn't here, so I got a chance to win." Or maybe I'm imagining. Maybe it's just a dream I had. I can't remember. I'm a little loopy right now because I'm sick. I caught COVID from the conference.
Oh no!
But so, are you ready, Morning?
I am ready.
All right.
All right. So the first one is a multiple choice. You can either type in the letter, or if you think you know the answer, you can fill in the correct answer.
Nice.
All right. Where do you find this text? The beady eyes and razor-sharp teeth belies the ostensibly calm nature of this small lizard. A runestone. B, Lox trophy. C, neck trophy, or D, neck tail. All right, we've got our first answer. Second answer. Jiroc, we're waiting on you.
Well, now I just have. Well, neck trophy was what letter?
C.
Oh,
C.
They both. That's the one I think it is too. But I'm just going to pick. What was B?
B, Lox trophy. All right. Because Loxes look like lizards too, a little bit.
I can't win if I choose
C. takes the point.
Oh, Vaste. It's supposed to be Jiroc. Okay, Vaste,
right.
You got that one.
Next question. You must know the answer.
Oh.
There is no me holding your hand. No. You have to know the answer. All right. How much flour to make a loaf of bread? How much barley flour does it take to make a loaf of bread?
I have no idea, by the way.
Wait.
I just typed an answer in as quickly as I could.
No. What is a loaf?
We have 3 answers.
No, you can't delete your answers, Vaste. You cheater. He's cheating.
A loaf. We are worse.
All right, so we had 3 answers. They were all wrong, and then Vaste changed his answer. I don't know. Do we count that?
Well,
but here's the thing. A loaf is one bread. Why didn't you say a bread?
Look, my answer was first, and I changed it just like Vaste did, but I was first.
I did it mine, to be fair. So I have the order. I went to the last one.
Vaste has it correct with 5 barley flour.
Oh, Vaste, who invited you to the podcast?
All right. Next question. It's a fill in the blank, but it is a multiple choice. So you can either, if you think you know the answer, you can fill it in, or you can type the letter when I say the word. Spelling does not matter. If you can't spell it, I think we'll be able to guess. All right. Fill in the blank. Halt and listen, traveler. On the highest peaks of Valheim, the air is thin and fragile. From here, you can sometimes catch the sounds from other places. The ring of battle on Midgard, the feast in Valhalla, or the shriek of a blank as she crosses the space between the worlds.
I'm just making sure I got it.
I was waiting for the options. There's no multiple.
She said we had to type it, I think.
No.
Oh, are there a multiple choice?
Yes, so this is a multiple choice. A, Drake. B, Valkyrie. C, Motor. Or D, Freya.
My answer is in.
Your answer is very clearly in. All right.
Looks like all the answers are in. Who's right?
All the answers are in. Vaste takes it with Valkyrie.
Oh, really? Wait, what?
What?
I was sure it was Dragon 2. I was going to write Dragon 2.
Oh,
in
wow.
fact, Valkyrie.
Where is that printed? Is that on one of the runestones?
Yeah, it's a mountain runestone.
Oh, nice.
You know what? When you say I don't read the runestones. I don't know any of them. And when you say cross world, I saw it can be
space
Dragon.
between the worlds. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense.
Higher.
Because that's the story of Valheim, right? Like how we get here is the Valkyrie brings us from Midgard to Valheim. Right. Nice question. I like it.
I'm glad you like it.
Didn't know we were allowed to use logic here.
All right, next one. How do you turn Hugin off? A, chat box. B, settings. C, dev commands. Or D, all of the above.
Oh, darn it. Vaste.
I like Canada's answer, but
so I said settings before all of the above came. Canaris, for those who are listening, he typed feather cape. So you turn off Hugin with the feather cape.
I think that's the best answer. But, however, Jiroc, are you sure you want to change your answer?
What can you read the other three? I want to make sure I heard them.
A, chat box. B, settings. C, dev commands. Or D, all of the above.
Oh, no, I stick with my original answer. You can't do it from the chat box.
You actually can, because you can do commands from the chat box if there are player commands. And tutorial toggle is a player command, so you actually can.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't tried it.
I actually am going to crush your bubble, Vaste. You are wrong. Ever since they added the ability to turn Hugin off in the settings, they have turned off the ability to tutorial toggle in both the chat window and the dev commands.
Oh, so it's only settings now.
It is only in settings now.
Oh my goodness. Did Jiroc just steal the Vaste from the
you changed your answer. You all got it wrong.
No. You asked if I wanted to change. I did.
Why? Really? Why?
It's in the settings
Only
now.
My answer turns him off permanently, though.
Feather cape. Once you get the feather cape, there's no more reason for him to show up, right?
Oh no.
That might actually be true. What is the last thing that Hugin shows up for? Because that would turn him off too.
There's no last thing. It appears for everything that has an entry in the tutorial chat, no matter in which order you discover it.
Yeah. So it does not turn off. So Canaris is wrong. Vaste is wrong. And Jiroc was right, but then he changed his answer. So
I'm taking the point so Vaste don't sweep us.
I still think is bad.
But you guys learned something new there. All right, last question.
That's the main thing about this is where you learn from trivia. You learn.
I was it was real funny to them.
It was real funny when
they have to allow it again.
it's interesting. It was funny when I discovered it because I was trying to turn it off and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Why isn't this working? And then I went and tested it in 5 different ways. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to try to stump Jiroc and Vaste with this one.
I have an even funnier thing about that. From the settings, it doesn't turn off. It's not working. I have several times when I turn it off and it comes back again. It's a stalker.
It works for me. That's weird.
It's failing all the time for me.
Oh no. All right.
Too many
last
mods,
question. Yeah, seriously. All right. Last question. What damage, and this is a fill in the blank so you don't get a multiple choice. What damage are ticks weak to?
Oh,
what type of damage are ticks weak to?
Dang, Vaste typed faster than me.
I type all day, so I should type even faster.
I did a video on all the mob weaknesses in the in the Mistlands.
Yeah,
but they actually they die from almost everything with one hit. But yeah, they are specifically weak to one thing.
Yeah.
All right, so the answer is Pierce, but Canaris responded with, I only use fire.
Yeah.
Well, if you use the frost one, it also has pierce damage, I think.
Oh.
Ooh.
Exciting. All right.
Well,
thank
you for putting that together. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you.
I think
it looks like Vaste took it.
Vaste. He changed his answer on one of his too. Which one was it? The first or the second one? I forget.
The first one.
The first one was.
It's okay. I'm on the board, and Canaris at least answered with Feather Cape, so that was kind of funny. So he can get a half a point. We'll just write Can.
Canaris got two funny ones in.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give him Canar then. Well, yeah, that would always tell people the trivia is more about learning than it is about winning, unless you're Vaste.
I love to win, so I take the win.
I'd love to win. You need a T-shirt, Vaste, that says "I love to win."
Well, he wins more often now that I'm not competing in these.
Yeah, now that you're running them.
Yeah, because you ride fast and have better connection. Jiroc rides slow and have a better connection. So I actually had a chance there.
Okay, well, that was fun. And I think that's going to do it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me this week, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us again.
Thank you.
I missed
Thank
you
you
guys.
for letting me win.
I missed all you too. Thank you for joining us, Canaris and Vaste. Congratulations on your win. And until next week, have fun out there.
Bye.